welcome to this Selling Travel TV presentation. I'm going to be talking some travel truths today with Norbert Kettner, who's the Managing Director of the Vienna Tourist Board. Hi Norbert, thanks for joining us today. Where are you talking to us from?
I'm talking from my office, actually, where I spent a lot of time also during the shutdown. It was like shining because I was alone in my office. So I was oscillating between the apartment and the office because we were allowed to leave the apartment. So I spent quite a lot of time in the office as well. And now I'm in the office again.
Okay, let's talk about where we are in terms of Austria first. The country came to the party quite early in terms of shutting down in the face of the coronavirus, which I think now sees you a little bit ahead of some other countries, certainly the UK, when it comes to lifting the restrictions. And
Yes.
looking from afar, it seems that Austria seems to be on its way out of the crisis and in the phase where you're starting to reopen things. I guess it's a case of fingers crossed that this continues.
Yeah, we are confident actually. So looking back, yes, we have to say we were on the more lucky side actually. But there was a good portion of good luck as well, because maybe we had the incidents in the Tyrol, which the spreading events and everything. So the government took at a very early stage very strict measures, and I think this helped us now because so we are quite ahead of other countries. But I always want to stress out it's not a competition. So we are all affected in Europe, and I think there is a common sense of dealing with the crisis. So, but actually now we are opening up. We are opening up economy. The hotels are open, can open again. Not all of them are open. I have to say, only 45% of the Viennese hotels opened last Friday. But still, we are confident that this opening up is going on and on. But still, we are realistic optimists or optimistic realists. We know. I always call it we are in the mode of on-off economy because there can be incidents. We're in the mode of a low or no-touch economy, and we are in the mode of a 1 meter economy. So, and this, what we have to get used this year, actually, and this situation we are at now.
Okay, I mean, during the lockdown period, I believe that Vienna found some imaginative ways to keep your city's popular horses, who usually pull the carriages occupied by tourists. I mean, you found a new job for them, didn't you?
Yes, we did. Yes, we were very creative about that. So we had to see that the city, the psyche of the city was not too much damaged, because I believe in collective psyches of places, cities, destination. And this was actually, it was a challenging time, and the mentioned horses, they were a part of this psyche, or are a part of this psyche of the city actually. And so we found some ways to entertain them. So we had to be creative.
Okay. And last week, the mayor of Vienna turned on the city's giant Ferris wheel after you'd closed it down during COVID-19. I think that was the first time in 75 years the big wheel would stop spinning. And I guess that was a symbolic moment for the city, suggesting that the wheels of life and business were beginning to start to turn again.
It was definitely a very symbolic act, actually, because as you mentioned, the Ferris wheel never stood still since World War II. And it turned when the third man was shot there, when Harry Lime was standing there in the gondola and talking about the Borgias and Switzerland and everything. It was actually really the first time for more than 70 years that it stood still. And this was a very symbolic act for us, because now we are aware, or we think we are aware. Nobody's really aware what will be the consequences of the crisis yet. But we are willing to open up economy. We are willing to welcoming guests as soon as it's possible. It will take longer in cities. We are aware of that. We know that. The cities were the first to be affected and will be the last to have a sort of resurrection, And but we try to make the best out of it.
Just give us a sense of the current mood in Vienna at the moment. I mean, are people starting to feel uplifted that change is happening?
Yeah, definitely. We are a very baroque, sensual society. We love to eat, to drink too much, very often. So this is a very important part of our lifestyle. It's an outdoor city. Vienna is a very outdoor city because of the climate as well. So we felt trapped, and now we have this way of optimism to say, okay, now life starts again, and we want to share also the lifestyle with our guests, which are not very present right now. I can give you an example. We had, I think, in April we had 38 arrivals from the UK. 38. That was probably the last time it was the case in May 1945, probably. So it's a sort of a surreal situation. But people are optimistic, people are outgoing. There is the will of starting off again, really to make the business work again, businesses work again. So this is the situation right now. But we are aware the crisis is not over yet. And we are aware of that, but still it makes no sense to also, although we are the city of psychoanalyzers, it makes no sense now to be too skeptic and too pessimistic about the thing. We are optimistic, but not unrealistic.
I mean, your city known for your restaurants, your cafes, and your bars. Are they starting to draw back people?
Yeah, but slowly, because you know the mode we use our restaurants and bars are unheard of. You know, you enter the bar with the mask on it. You can put it up, put it down as soon as you're there. But the waiters have to wear the mask or another thing in front of your face, which is it's a weird situation actually. And we are still far away from a normal business, we have to say, because some people are hesitant, but I think it's getting better and better.
I mean, what are your best expectations? We're all guessing, of course, at this stage. But do you have any hopes at all for salvaging some of the summer in terms of visitors, or are you looking more towards the autumn and perhaps even beyond to your Christmas markets?
I would say it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. I'm very much aware that we cannot expect too much from the year 2020, because in this year we are locked in this triangle of the development of purchasing power internationally, economic development globally, and the behavior of our clients. So, and this triangle we are dealing with all our funds and all our activities actually, and we have to be very realistic. So we concentrate actually on 21 and beyond, because we will not go back to normal, in my opinion, before we have a vaccination or a medication.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Vienna itself. I mean, it's a truly beautiful city. It's been a long time since I was there, but I remember it being a very walkable city with a lot of parks and green spaces. I remember City Park and how English that felt in terms of a park. Urban spaces and green places are going to be important to visitors looking for city breaks, and I think Vienna is well placed to offer this, isn't it?
Definitely, 50% of the city surface is green, either woods, the famous Vienna woods, or parks or gardens in the inner city as well. This is a very important thing also when you look at climate change, because Vienna will be or is a very warm city during summer. So this is going to be very, very important. And thanks to the city planning 150 years ago. So like in London, you know, it was smart city planning, it built a green city already then. And so we are profiting from this, of course. The city is walkable because it's a mono-centered city. We have one center, it's like Paris, you know, one center with a cathedral. There are other cities which have more centers like London or Berlin. So Vienna is a very single-centered city. And within the city center, you have the highest densities of restaurants in Europe. you have the highest density of museums in Europe, and you have a high density of parks and gardens. So actually, that's a perfect combination. Together with the high level of functioning in the city, you know, we are not only the city with the highest quality of life, we are, and this is true because the infrastructure works perfectly. What we saw now with the healthcare system, but also the other infrastructure like public transport and so on, they work perfectly, and this helps in such a situation.
For our travel agent viewers who will be watching this, tell us some of the unmissable highlights. If a travel agent is recommending Vienna as a city break to one of their clients, what must be on their list to see?
When you want to go to a walkable, mid-sized city of 2 million people, but you want to enjoy the cultural offer of a 6 million capital, then go to Vienna, because we are a mid-sized capital in Europe, 2 million inhabitants, but the cultural offer is of a city of 6 million inhabitants. So not right now, but it will come back. So this is one reason to go to Vienna. It's one of the safest places in the world. It's one of the best organized places in the world. And even after Corona, it will be one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And we love to share our beautiful city with our visitors. And I think there are some good reasons to come here. And of course, right now, the next year, safety, personal safety, good infrastructure, good healthcare will be a theme, will be an issue when traveling.
Could you tell us some of the measures that you've put in place to increase visitor safety in terms of hygiene and social distancing? What would people expect to find when they come to Vienna now?
There's always been a high level of hygiene measures in the city. What we do now, we are very closely collaborating with our stakeholders in the industry. For example, you find not only in German, because we talked about stakeholders here in the city, we have an exact plan. What happens if a COVID-19 case occurs in a hotel? We can tell the hoteliers exactly what to do. So then they are not struggling around what to do now. They know exactly what to do. We are in a very close collaboration with the city authorities for that. The public transport system was at a very early stage, explained how to deal on the hygienic level with all the things. So the industry is very well prepared for that, because, and to be honest, some of them always complain there is too much regulation. You know the old story, too much regulations. But now we are used to that, actually. And now it helps us, because we are feeding in an existing system of regulations. And okay, there was never regulation about wearing a mask as a waiter, but just now you feed it in the existing system of regulations. And this brings a high level of safety and security for our clients.
2020, you had a few significant anniversaries and openings to mark, and I guess you were looking forward to visitors experiencing the 250th anniversary of the birth of Beethoven and the reopening of the Sigmund Freud Museum. So it must have been,
yes.
it must have been disappointing that you couldn't share those quite big occasions with tourists.
You're definitely right. There was a third occasion, actually, the opening of a new museum for contemporary art, the Albertina Modern, which actually, the opening fell directly into the shutdown. So there were already some international journalists here. They had some single tours, but the grand opening was canceled, of course. And you mentioned the Beethoven anniversary. Yes, the same thing, and the Freud Museum. But the Albertina Modern is already open. The Freud Museum will open the next weeks, and we are very much looking forward to it. But this was really unprecedented for us as well. But I can tell you, we never stopped working, actually. And the first days in the shutdown, we came into a always-on mode, and through digital media, we were in contact with all our partners worldwide. And what we did, we did a little medley of our Beethoven stars, like Billy Joel, who's a big Beethoven expert. And we made a small clip where our Beethoven stars like Billy Joel or Yuja Wang, the pianist, they told what they think about Vienna and how they love Vienna. So this was one of the first activities we did to be in the always on mode. So we helped ourselves in a way. We improvised, but now we are really looking forward to the opening, and people are craving for live events. And I think this is a very comforting thought for me, that what we see, people will come back to live events. They will go to the opera, to theaters. Meetings industry, extremely important for Vienna. So they will hold conferences. Not now, maybe not in the beginning of 2021, but after this time, I think people are craving to meet each other again and to have live experiences in culture. And I also have to say, what a wonderful thing digitization is, because we couldn't manage, the whole world couldn't manage the crisis economically, but also socially without digitization. So how important the digital tools are for all of us. And it will never replace the life experience. We saw this in tourism, because in tourism, every tiny step of our customer journey is digitized actually, but people were traveling more than ever. So it was always a teaser for the real experience. And this is what I tell people in the cultural sector. It's you have to be very fit in the digital world, but it will never replace the life experience. And I think this is a very comforting thought.
Talking of live experiences, have you got anything in 2021 that visitors can look forward to? Any events, any festivals, any carnivals, any openings that should be on their calendar?
So the calendar is full, but I cannot promise that everything will take place, actually, to be honest. So we have many rotating or regular festivals in the city. The Vienna Festival, the Summer Dance Festival, which is the biggest festival for dance in Europe. All the cultural institutions are planning to open up in 2021. They're planning to open up in actually September, many of the theaters and operas. But they hope to be fully fully restored in a way in 2021. So there's going to be a lot to see, and two new museums, the Freud Museum and the Albertina Modern, and we're very much looking forward to.
I guess to get visitors back, you're going to need to be promoting to both consumers and to the UK trade over here. Are you developing campaigns and strategies on how you're going to be doing that when the time is right to hit the button on those campaigns?
Yes, we are planning on that. What do you do right now for Austria? Because right now we are limited to Austria, actually, which will not save us this year, because it's only 70% of our visitors come from Austria. So we started a campaign which we will adapt for other markets. We started a campaign which is called Vienna is always worth a world travel, a world tour, because we are aware that many people in Europe right now cannot go to their preferred places like Italy or Spain or other places. So because of the rich history of the city, we have a lot of places in the city which resemble of Venetian palaces, Greek palaces, and so on. We are now stressing this. So come to Vienna, see the world. It's primarily digital, but not only, also out of home. And we are planning on campaigns which can be started in every market, which will go up for us, also for the UK. And we think about something similar for the UK.
Well, thanks, Norbert. I mean, certain destinations, certain cities are always going to be popular, and they're always going to draw tourists. And Vienna is certainly going to be ahead of the pack when it is time to start traveling again. Thank you for joining us today, and we wish you good luck with your comeback. And we'll see you in Vienna sometime soon.
Yes, I hope very soon. Thank you so much for having me.
Cheers.
I love Vienna because this is a place, a city for everybody.
I love Vienna because Vienna is the home for music.
I love Vienna because
It is Vienna. No, this is...
I love Vienna in June. How about you?
Vienna sounds golden to me. Sounds like Sachertorte.
Vienna is a big fat chord using all the keys on the piano.
Waltzes, waltzes, waltzes.
Bum, 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 bum.
Tra-ra-ran, 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 tra-ra.
Okay, that's more like how I feel after I ate the Sachertorte.
I love Vienna because Vienna has space for me.
I love Vienna because I love hearing music in a sophisticated environment.
Wien, Wien, nur du allein.
It sounds like this movement in music.
I love Vienna because there is no other city in the world like Vienna.